Hi, folks.
Hey,
Sorry, my camera is busted today.
don't worry. I am. I like when people decide to have come off. I think it's important. But in the United States, you already have changed the hour.
Sorry, change the.
I mean, during spring.
Oh,
autumn,
daylight, yes. Yeah, Sunday, this past Sunday.
It's 1 week before Europe. Every time I forgot this, all the United States meetings switch in 1 hour in my calendar. I don't understand why. Usually, I don't remember. Oh yes, the hour.
Oh, wait, you don't switch?
Yeah, we switched, but this weekend, not the previous one.
Well, of
So for
course,
1 week, we have the delay. I have all the calendar that just move.
of
And
course, because why would everybody just agree to do it on the same day? That would be so easy for everyone.
I mean, totally agree. But yeah, time
At
is
least you're not like on the half hour. Like,
cool. I have a lot of updates.
awesome.
Mm.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the March 15th Identifying Security Threats Working Group meeting. I will be your host, at least for the first half hour. I need to bounce at 30 minutes past. But if the conversation, if there's more stuff to talk about, I'll just hand it over to you, Luigi, if that works. And we'll just keep going. No new members. So how's everybody doing? Did everybody have a good, well, I guess it's Wednesday, so it's too late to ask how your weekend was. I hope everyone is going to have a nice weekend.
Well, survived to SVB, so
yeah. Cool. Luigi, you want to give any updates from your end?
Yeah. Now 1 month ago, I joined attended a hack group meeting where I proposed to have an organization level security policy, security.md, we can call as we prefer, because it is a requirement for the security insights. In particular, we need to have a security contact, an email, and a generic email address, and better if we have also a link to a security policy that just explain, hey, if you find something, contact this or follow this procedure. I started to write a document. It is a draft. I have already shared in the channel disclosure, vulnerability disclosure, and I have received some comment, a good, very good feedback. I can share. I shared also in the channel, in our channel, and in the security insights channel. I mean, I'm trying to finish to close the last comment and feedback, and probably according to the suggestion that I received, I need to add a short paragraph where I just explain how we communicate with the researcher, what the researcher can expect by us. For example, that after 90 days, we disclose the vulnerability, even if we don't have a fix yet. I can share the link on Zoom. Here. This should be the policy. Everyone that have this link can comment. I hope I've shared the right one. Yeah. The name is just, I mean, the name for the policy is security policy, quite generic. I want to be sure that we don't create confusion or misunderstanding with the other policies that we are writing. So the policy when OpenSSF members find vulnerabilities in other project. I don't know, the informal name is for me the project zero policy, but yeah, Jonathan is working on that. So I've changed the name in security policy. I don't know if it's good for now. It is just a temporary name, and then someone else can approve it. There are some open comments, and we don't have still an email, but Francis said that in 2-3 days, he can give me updates about this, and having an email should not be a problem. We can also use, in my opinion, one of the Linux Foundation email if they have, I think so. It is just a generic email where we should receive a report that cannot be opened in GitHub in particular. The procedure that I have suggested is to send vulnerability via GitHub, because now GitHub offers private issue, more or less. I don't know if we have the GitHub account configured in the right way, but yeah, I think it's.
So as a suggestion, I know. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. From Gen 2.
Sorry?
I feel I'm forgetting the guy's name. Sorry?
Randall,
yeah. Was making updates to our GitHub repos for kind of better team management, so we don't have like individual people assigned to things. But
yeah,
since the hood is up, why don't we just ask him to enable private vulnerability reporting for every OSSF repo? Would that make things simple?
I mean, yeah, I agree. Technically, I agree. It's something that I want to propose to the TAC. At the moment, this is a sort of organizational level proposed policy. But during the meeting with the TAC group and also in the channel, people say maybe we don't want to have a security policy for every repo, or at least maybe some repo prefer to have a different policy, a different process. Technically, you can override the policy, even if I consider better to have one that is for the entire organization. If some project want to have a different procedure, for example, they have a bug bounty program on a private platform, something similar, they need to have the possibility to update or change the policy. At the same time, I think, yeah, we can enable probably I can propose, but I don't think it is an issue, enable the private security report via GitHub in all the report by design or by default. A good point is that wait a second, I forgot the point. We can enable it, but yeah, but technically this policy should be a generic policy for OpenSSF. And even if I think and agree that probably research stand has a report about the open source project that we have, and this is the main goal, honestly. If someone found a different vulnerability, maybe, I don't know, an S3 bucket related to OpenSSF that is all public, that should not be public, I prefer that contact us. So for this reason, I would like to have an email address, for example.
I think that's totally fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how other people feel, but like having a fallback of get to a human.
Yeah, but we can, I mean, the idea is to have the private security report by design on every report, because it is the best way to, I have also written in Slack the reason, but yeah, I think that it is easier for the different team to manage the vulnerability report. And in this way also, I guess that not all the contributors or the member in our repo can see the vulnerability that we receive in other repos. So I think it is a good idea in general. So yep. Yeah. And I will ask this person to have more. Yeah, if we approve the policy, we can proceed this way.
Okay, that works. I just enabled, so for the repos that I control, so Alpha Omega, this working group, and well, Omega Triage Portal, I just enabled private vulnerability reporting. So we can be the guinea pigs, but it should just work.
Yeah, but I agree that probably there is a flag or a toggle to enable it on the entire organization. I hope. Otherwise, we need to ask to GitHub to enable it, to implement it.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 50 something repos, so
Yeah,
we could just go through them one by one or send a note out and say, everybody, just do
you are
this.
right. Yeah, it's a human task, definitely. It's something that human can do.
Yeah.
And this is all from me, all the updates that I have. At the moment, I'm blocking this because after that we have a security policy. I can continue to merge the pull requests about security insights, but it is good that we are working on this. So
Awesome. So, Jonathan, this policy, is this the docs that you put together, Jonathan? Obviously one is how we report out, which is the opposite of this. This is the inbound. Was there another doc that you had on inbound stuff, or is this the doc? Is it just?
I never wrote an inbound doc. This is
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Just want to make sure we didn't have two slightly different inbound.
I'm trying to keep a liner as more people. I mean, as much people as possible. At the moment, I am cross-posting updates about this topic in 3 channel and sometimes in the TAC channel.
Perfect. David, welcome. We were just chatting. I think the one new point that we were just chatting about before you joined was, does it make sense to enable private vulnerability reporting on every OpenSSF GitHub repo? And we think the answer is yes. So Luigi's going to post that to TAC, but I don't know if you had strong feelings why that wouldn't be a good idea. That seems like a slam dunk, easy one.
Slam dunk. I'll help you put it in. Best practices badge. We're already doing it.
Okay. Perfect.
So it hasn't. It has failed to crash or cause misery or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
Now I should warn you that that GitHub is real. If you look at their docs, really strongly emphasize this is experimental. Yada yada yada. So.
Worst case is it goes to the wrong repo and we.
Well, no, the worst case is that it only goes to adversaries.
Right, that's true. It could be worse.
It could be worse. I don't, just for the record, since we're recording, I don't actually expect that to be what happens. But it is experimental, so and in fact, for the best practices badge, we have a pull request not merged in yet, where we're going to refer to that vulnerability reporting process as something that folks can enable.
Nice.
Not, we require people have a way to report. It doesn't have to be that, but we are planning to point to that as a way to implement it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be good, especially as that exits experimental from GitHub's perspective, pushing that on as a best practice, because the more repos that enable that, it helps across the board.
Right. The obvious way to do that is have it as a scorecards measure.
Yes.
I think they're probably going to be reticent as long as it's considered experimental. But the way we can help is, why don't we, the OpenSSF, add it? Yes, it's experimental, but we'll get experience. And after that, then we can put it in scorecards. I mean,
or just mark it in scorecards as an experimental check, and that way it's transparent.
Yeah.
Cool. Luigi, would you mind pinging the scorecard folks?
Yeah, I think that having a sort of experimental information that maybe don't change for now the average or the value and the result of scorecard, but give you more information. It can be a nice feature, and I can ask if they want to implement this. I don't know if now GitHub have a way via API to know if this feature is enabled or not. I think so, but not totally sure because it is experimental.
Right.
but it is something that we can implement. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's hard to hide it, really.
Yeah.
You know, it enables external users to report. So you can, if nothing else,
Do the
try to
buttons
do
there
it.
where it's not. Yeah. Cool. So the only thing I wanted to share, and I shared this through a couple different channels, but the assurance assertions work that I presented, I don't know, sometime in the past, now has a website where I'm collecting and showing the data. So you are welcome to peruse that, and feedback, both good and especially critical feedback, please send it. Either direct to me or as an issue or Slack or however. But the purpose of this is to, here, I'll show it. I will share real quick. Let's see if sharing works. Okay, so okay. You guys see what I'm showing? What I'm trying to show. So my favorite left pad. So down below, this is kind of the main screen across the board. So these are assertions that were generated and uploaded. Some of it is metadata that, you know, frankly already exists in other places, but some of it is new stuff. So the fact that ClamAV ran against the contents of LeftPad and found 0 infected files is a good thing. And what that really means is that there's a policy that requires that no virus or malware be detected, and that you can. So the evaluation of that policy requires an assertion of type somewhere here, ClamAV, I guess. Yeah, I think it's this one. So putting this all together, it allows you to express your expectations for the security quality of a piece of open source as evaluated by certain tools. We will provide tools. People can bring their own tools. They can bring their own policies. They can ignore our policies and create their own. So if all you cared about were like, what are critical vulnerabilities? Well, you only look for those policies. And if you want to integrate it into your own thing, well, there's an API for that, and you can just integrate this and do whatever. We'll probably have a full like database dump if you wanted to just do the whole thing. What else? We've got API docs and ability to request new packages. This doesn't do anything at this point, but it's there. Thoughts?
The broader, I'd love to have something like this into the dashboard that we are still
Hey,
noodling on.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Is yeah, have the dashboard just load the JSON either dynamically or whatever, and just make it part of the kind of like how on deps.dev you have the scorecard like data. You know, do whatever with it.
Has ClamAV ever reported a positive result on a JavaScript package?
I'm sure I have some JavaScript packages I'm sure ClamAV would enjoy.
You think? Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, so
They have to be pretty extreme for ClamAV to notice.
well, so ClamAV does have a PUA scanner, so it'll do that. I think it'll also do things like quines and zip bombs and whatnot.
Okay.
So
All right, fair enough. A zip bomb, at least I can see it.
I mean, the point though is that like, great. So we have I don't know, Sophos or pick another tool. What we do is we have that tool emit the same the same type of assertion. So the assertion, instead of being called claim AV, it would be called like antivirus detector, whatever. And then the policy remains the same, and it requires that all assertions of type antivirus detector have no findings called infected. So that way it kind of improves over time as more assertions come in, and the tools get smarter.
Gotcha. Have you looked into integrating in package analysis?
I've been chatting with Oliver a bit. We do need to align. We're chatting in two areas. One was collecting known malicious packages as they are taken down, either as physically a repository of malicious packages for researchers, or just as the metadata for tools to kind of consume and expose. That was one, and the other one was, can the package analysis logic itself be part of the Omega tool chain, which I think also makes sense, because I think they do some stuff that I mean there is a lot of overlap, but they do some stuff that we don't, and
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, you might want to talk to Caleb Brown or Max Fisher also.
Yeah.
Making tweaks and improvements on that. So
Yeah, that works.
more analysis, better.
Yep, absolutely. Does anybody else have other updates they'd like to talk about? As I said, I need to drop at 10:30 or in 8 minutes, but I am here for at least that.
So regarding the open source maintainer summit, we have had the summit, but then the enthusiasm level have dropped a little bit in following up on the notes that we had, and basically making a presentation out of that. I'm still coordinating with people. I was expecting that would have something by the end of March. It might be pushed by another 15 days or so at least.
That works. So I mean, in reading the notes from last time, it sounds like there's some desire to kind of repeat and expand this type.
Yeah,
of
we did have like post event survey, and I mean, out of politeness or whatever, I mean, people were overwhelmingly positive, and they actually wanted, like, majority of the results, I think, were that they wanted like twice every year or something like that, something similar.
Awesome.
But then I mean, yeah, there's obviously logistics, etc., that needs to be figured out.
Yeah.
But at least, like, for now, our goal is to go through the like the rich set of notes that we have like made in the two meeting rooms, and then make some sense out of it, and then make a blog post, also probably present to TAC or something. I don't know. I mean, that's but it looks like that there are some interesting observations, etc., that are there, and so we will have a good report. It's just, when do we have it? It's like having commitment from people at this point is pretty difficult. But yeah,
totally got it. Awesome. I'm super happy that the event turned out well. Did you feel like the number of participants was too large, too small, right size?
It was, we had 16 plus Yesenia, so 16 maintainers, and so 8 in each room. It was, I mean, and even then, like, we had the 55-minute or 65-minute session, and not everybody ended up talking that much anyway. So I think, like, between 10 to 20 each, 10 people, like 5 to 10 people in each room is a good setup. Now the question is, depending on the people attending in future, we can probably create more rooms or etc. I mean, so but I mean, having about like between 5 to 10 people in each room appeared to be not too overwhelming, and people were like, whoever were participating, they're participating pretty enthusiastically. So that's good.
Awesome. That sounds Terrific. Yeah, I'm really sorry that I missed it, and I will definitely be there for the next one.
Sure.
I do think that dividing it up into those smaller groups is the key.
Yeah.
Because, yes, we realize that there's, huge numbers of open source developers, but if you put them all in one room, nobody's gonna have a chance to speak.
Mhm.
So,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that part really worked out. I mean, like having about 8 people in the room just worked out fine. We did, I mean, in future, if we do it, I mean, there are values in having like people from different backgrounds, like JavaScript people with C, C++ people and so on in the same room, as in maybe there's good exchange, but I mean, that could be also deterring in some cases. So that aligning the rooms, maybe the diversity is good because we want to have different ideas, but then that might cause unnecessary conflicts or like the people are not, or not everybody are on the same page. So maybe that's something that we can discuss or think like next time. That's something that we were discussing internally, as in like if we do it another time, what do we what are the things that we have to tweak?
Yeah, I'd love to measure somehow like the number of new connections built, especially for folks between, that wouldn't like that aren't already in the same kind of
Mhm.
pool to begin with.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if they self-select to like the people they already know, that's great, but that's kind of a happy hour rather than a.
Yes.
Okay. Cool, awesome. Let's see, anything else before I drop at least?
Yeah, quick comment on that. I think that if we're going to go in depth, it might be helpful to divide by ecosystem, because otherwise, someone who, the folks who are writing JavaScript, say, server-side libraries are not necessarily going to have a lot in common with somebody who's writing, Rust or whatever. So I think it might be useful to divide that way if we wanted to get into some depth.
Thank you.
But at the same time, there are some interesting technologies that like, well, WebAssembly, like, what is that now? So, and so, but
Absolutely.
But yeah, I guess maybe having different rooms by topic, and that way you kind of self-select somehow into the, all that. But anyway, awesome, nice job on all that. Okay, so choices. We can end early, or you guys can keep chatting. Up to y'all. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're talking about really goes down into the dashboard. So I would say let's end early and we can move on.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your day and week, and see everybody at the town hall tomorrow, the OpenSSF town hall. If you have not registered, please register, attend. Unfortunately, you'll have to hear me speak again, but it'll be fun nevertheless. So
Have you link for the town hall? I missed it.
oh yes, I will post before I go, because then I'll forget. Where's the link?
I can find it
I
before.
want to say that if you just go to openssf.org, it should be on the top. That would kind of be silly if we didn't have it there.
Yeah, and it's silly we don't have it there. It's under.
I just put up the Zoom link in the chat. It's tomorrow at what is this? 10 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, 10 a.m.
It's in the blog. I'm gonna post.
Okay, it's in the blog. Perfect. Okay, because I remember something, but I haven't the link. Probably I just missed to register. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.